All right, we are back. This is Bucketphoria, a basketball podcast presented by Mafia Sports Report and Sports Dynasty. How you doing, Alex?
Um, Doing alright. Joined the finals so far, and even though the air in New York City's been garbage, looks like a IG filter, but doing alright. How are you?
Yeah, I wish you well. Wish the fan well. That's ridiculous, but let's get right into it, man. Yeah, I'm enjoying the finals as well. We just had Game 3. Denver is up 2-1. So I want to talk about this duo with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. This 1-2 punch is just ridiculous, and it just seems as this team plays more, as they get deeper, their pick and roll seems more flawless.
Yeah. And I'm gonna ask you this question real quick.
Uh-huh.
So as I know, Jamal Murray had a triple double, and Nikola Jokic had a 30, 20, and 10 type of game. Because I saw this earlier today. Do you think it's better than that Game 5 performance by LeBron and Kyrie when they both dropped 41 points?
Well, it depends. There's a lot of variables you got to count in because LeBron and Kyrie was facing elimination, and they were also facing a deficit. Something that's never been done before. But if you're just going by performance for performance and taking away, I guess, the situation, which is kind of hard to do, it might be. It depends. It might be better, but one is Warriors and one is Miami Heat, so it's tough. I would say it's up there. It's enough to be compared, is what I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just see, like, I just watched the Nikola Jokic play and all that, and honestly, it just looks so simple for him. It's like he said in a press conference. I think it was after they won Game 1 when it was like, how do you switch gears of like how you become like a scorer or how you go like a playmaker, and he legitimately just said, I just take whatever the defense just gives me.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It just looks like he's always comfortable and he always has an answer to whatever a defense gives him. I mean, he kind of has similarities. Like when I watch him, the effortless in the game, it kind of feels like a Tim Duncan-ish kind of thing where he was also another player where it kind of always felt like he did what he wanted. It didn't really, It never really felt like someone stopped him. More so, maybe if he had an off night, it was due to him having an off night, but not really something off of a coach or a defensive scheme being written up.
Yeah, because for players like that, you just can't.
Yeah. Like, what can you do, bro? Like, but it's also amazing to watch, and I'm just appreciating every second of it because he's really one of the all-time greats in this game, and there ain't gonna be many players like him.
Yes, and Jamal Murray is quickly rising up as one of the best playoff performers we've seen. Might be a bit hyperbolic, but take a look at this. The past two playoff performances he's had, like he's actually able to play basketball and whatnot. He averaged 26.5 points per game in the bubble and 27.4 points per game, and pretty insane splits, might I add as well. Almost 50, 40, 90 in the playoffs in the bubble year, and shooting 48, 39.6, and 92% from the free throw line so far. And it's amazing how he elevates his game come playoff time.
I agree with you 100% on this. I feel like the path that he's going, he might be looked at as a kind of like a Chauncey Billups, kind of like in that stature, where this is a legendary point guard where you can win a title with him. It doesn't matter who you go up against. He will elevate to a level that it makes you feel like is this guy just a top 5 point guard? Is he a top 3 point guard? In the playoffs, it makes you feel that way, but it's because he always answers the call and gets jewelry.
Right. I'll say this so far. I'll say this so far for the Evers case, it's you're up to one, which is good, right? And I think the best thing you can say about this is that they're doing this, and Michael Porter Jr. is really bad on the offensive side of the ball. Like he's like absolutely brutal to watch, bad.
He is. He is.
But like he's scoring less point. He's scoring as many points per game as Christian Brown, and Christian Brown is a defender.
Yeah. It's looking like
He had a big game last night too, though. Nice 15-point game for him.
yeah, he did. He had a big game, but it's looking like I mean, this was talked about in the beginning of the series. He's usually the guy. I think he's the guy when you play Denver, where it's like you don't really know what he's gonna do. I mean, he could be the hottest player, but he could also be the coldest player to the point where it's detrimental. But I mean, when you got two players both getting triple doubles, I mean, what are you gonna do about that?
And a rookie with 15 points off the bench.
Right. I feel like, cause what Michael Porter finished with, like 7? Or was it like 3 or
7?
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah,
he's averaging 7. He finished with 2.
He finished with 2. That is a nightmare performance.
He finished with 2.
Yeah, yeah, 2 is ridiculous. You know, it's weird because I watched this game. I kind of watched this game over in the morning. Miami got the looks that they wanted. It's just I mean, when you just can't, when there's two players, you can't stop them. There's just nothing you can do, man. Like two guys dominating like that and moving the ball. Well, I gotta say 3 because Brown getting 15 is kind of like Porter getting like 20, 25. So it's kind of like 3 guys. If 3 guys is gonna play that well, I mean, it's a draw up for a loss.
And here's the with Miami, right? I'm gonna say it sounds so simple and sounds like the most duh statement ever, but it's true. Like if they don't make their shots, they're going to lose, which obviously that's how the game is played. But it's because when they miss the shots and Denver gets the rebound, they're running. They're going in transition, and they're running on the break. And that's where Denver damages you. Ask the Lakers. They killed them in transition in that whole entire series. And that's their bread and butter. And that second game, they hit their shots. They were able to slow the game down. They were able to get to their own defense, and they were able to get the stops that they needed. It's one of those situations that you gotta just drop easier shots so you could get back into your defense because Bam taking those mid ranges, even though he's kind of hitting it for the most part in this series. I'll say he's actually playing really well. I think he's Miami's best player.
He is Miami's best player. He is. Yeah.
So far, but it's one of those situations where, like, if he doesn't have that shot, they're kind of screwed because there's another thing. Nikola Jokic could just drop and not worry about it, and it's like, and it's good too because in the beginning of that third game, they were attacking Nikola Jokic again. They were doing the same thing that worked for the game too, that got them the win, and then after a while. They fell in love with the 3 ball, couldn't hit their shots. They went into transition. Jamal Murray has like the same second quarter. It feels like every single game that he just scores like 15 at bare minimum in the quarter, and that's a recipe for a blowout loss.
Yeah, because this game was very fairly competitive. I would say by the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, going into the half, that's pretty much where they lost the game. But for the most part, they were playing very well, and they were even having Denver in defensive miscommunications, where they kept having Martin open. I think Martin almost went like on a 10-0 run. Max Strus hit a shot. That was the shot that he hit. was that 3 in the wing? But it's like you said, right? But like you said, I agree with you. It is simple, but that is the case with this team. So. The undrafted players played like undrafted players, and Strus and Martin kind of cooled down. And yeah, the way they push the ball. One thing I'll say about this, I think Denver greatly benefits from this new transition rule. I think
they do.
Yeah, they benefited to the point where they've become unstoppable because they get that ball and They're going right away. They're not hesitating. They're pushing that ball crazy. And another thing I saw is this is the poison. This is the poison with having Kevin Love. This is the risk. If you're not hitting your shots, he's in no man's land. It is a wrap. They're gonna keep pushing, and draw those fouls. I think to start increasing that lead, I think they were in the bonus late in the second quarter, and they kept getting free throws because you can't stop them. You can't foul them behind the half court line because it's gonna be transition. But then by the time it hits the half court, they already know what they're gonna do. So it's either a foul or a bucket. You fast forward to the third quarter. Yeah, go ahead.
Look at it because it's gonna be entirely different. It's gonna be entirely different. Okay. Continue. Wait.
Yeah, then you fast forward to the third quarter. It kind of felt like it mixed with a combination of not hitting shots, not defending transition well, to the point where they lost themselves in half court defense, and Jamal Murray just he was slicing and dicing them up to the point where the game was lost. The game was ultimately lost.
Yeah, Jamal Murray did whatever the hell he wanted, and that it was a little ridiculous. Again, Christian Brown with those backdoor cuts, getting 15 as well. But here's something I didn't like from Miami in that last game too. The the minutes that these players got. So Kevin only played 16 minutes because when we're playing against a team that plays a transition a lot, he is a liability. But if you run with Caleb Martin starting, he's too small, and Aaron Gordon was just bullying. Look at the whole entire first quarter of that first game. That was ridiculous. Aaron Gordon had like 14 points at the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
But so here's the thing, right? Duncan Robinson played how many minutes? Because he played 13 minutes in this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
He played 7 to begin. I think he picked up 2 quick fouls. I believe. No, he just picked up the one foul. They got benched for the rest of the game. Daniel took garbage time, which that kind of confused me for one, because he was like aside from Bam Adebayo, who's like your best player that killed in that. He was very crucial in that game against the in that second game, where he was about where he sliced them with backdoor cuts, catching and ones, hitting some threes. Did he go like a 10 over by himself in that second game in the full quarter?
He did. He definitely did. I think the problem there was I think Gabe Vincent as well was in foul trouble.
Yeah. Gabe Vincent had three fouls in the first half. Yeah. No, he looked very frustrated in that game, honestly. And here's another thing that I don't understand. Cody Zeller, why is the game minutes at all? I understand the Jokic is like 7'1", right? And just big. I understand that. Don't get me wrong, but I understand Denver has a lot of fight hydrants too. Like Bruce Brown's a big dude. Aaron Gordon's a big dude. I understand that, but it's to the point where it's like everything he does, he just can't do anything right.
I'm starting to believe at a point where they're playing him just to let other people breathe, just to let guys get a little break in the bench to get ready to gear up and go back and play. Because I just don't get why this man would be playing. I can't. He adds nothing.
I don't get it either. It's like it felt like everything that bad happened was because of him. Mind you, he was a +2 in the first half in that last game. As funny as that is, but it was like I'm watching. I'm like, yo, why is he still playing? Why is he still playing? I didn't think them losing Dwayne Dedmon would hurt that much until I see him play.
Yeah, they seriously have no choice but to deal with whatever kind of mess ups he's going to pull off throughout this entire series. Because I guess they truly have no one. I
was gonna say they should have traded for what's his face, Thomas Bryant. They need him desperately.
I actually have one question. In between series, if I remember correctly, you can pick up free agents, right?
No, I don't think so.
You can't.
No.
They should have. This was definitely something I would say, okay, let's go before the playoffs, before the play-in. This was definitely something that they should have thought of. They should have thought, okay. Yeah, because for it to be this bad, it makes me amazed that you won a game because of how bad he is. Because, and it's nothing against the team. It's just that when you have there's nothing worse than a bad big man. I think that's the worst thing, in the court, is a bad big man. So it's like, how did you win a game? and in the first half, again, they weren't in. I think they shot 39% in the first half, but they were in it. I think they only had one turnover. So again, they're getting the looks that they want. It's just that, again, like you said, they're not. It's a make or miss league, man. If you're not gonna hit shots, you're not gonna win.
Yeah, because it's crazy too. Because here's something I actually didn't know until I'm looking at it now. You know how many 3-pointers Denver attempted in the second half?
How much? It had how much?
5.
Wow.
They only attempted 5 threes in the whole second half. They lived in that paint. As Miami kept chucking shots, 21 threes in the second half, only made 6 of them. It's again that's going to result to fast break points. And next thing you know, what was like a 5-point lead going to halftime, we're down by like 20 after that.
Yeah, I think like maybe like 6 minutes in the second half, it was over. They were already done. But this is kind of like the new identity of Miami. Is like they kind of like transformed into a 3-point shooting team. This is why they're here, which is insane because they were like the worst offense, and then I think they were like a top 3 offense in the playoffs. So yeah, this is what
I think they were literally the worst 3-point shooting team in the league this season, and then they were the best 3-point shooting team in the playoffs. I think that's how it was for them.
Okay, so they transformed into a shooting team. So that's what they're gonna do. The problem is, this is the worst team to miss threes against. It's almost at a point where I would, if you're not hitting shots, I would attack the paint more. So you could have more of a chance to try to get offensive rebounds or try to slow them down to create transition. Because when you're shooting that 3, they got this so much confidence that Nikola Jokic is going to get that rebound that they're pretty much like cherry picking, bro. That's pretty much what they're doing.
Says that.
Right? Like the 2K ballers know what that means, but I'll say it in different terms. When Miami's shooting threes, and they did this to the Lakers too, Denver, their guards or their forwards are already running to try to create transition because they know Nikola Jokic is going to get that rebound. And hence creates their strength. Huh?
And not just getting the rebound, he's gonna hit that pass too.
Yeah, and he's gonna hit the pass as well. So, but like again in the third quarter, it just felt like Miami it overwhelmed them. The fouls, the transition points, Gabe Vincent being in foul trouble. It felt like it overwhelmed them. And I have one more question for you. Do you think that Jimmy Butler is having problems with that ankle injury he got back in New York?
No. It's
because he's getting all the looks he wants.
Like, it's possible because it's kind of similar to what happened with Steph when they lost the finals in 2016. Like, he had that injury early. He will still have his Steph Curry games, but you could tell it was still bothering him. Jimmy Butler, I could say it's kind of similar to that because he still had his games against Boston, especially early in the series where he was cooking them, and then next thing you know, like he's starting to struggle because again, the more games you play under that injury, the worse you're gonna play. It's just gonna happen because you had no time to rest. So it's possible. I won't rule it out, but I can't say yes or no to that. I'm not him. I'm not feeling what's it called.
Right. That was a perfect comparison. Because in both runs and in both players, they seem to get the looks that they will always want, but they would it wasn't hitting, and it was kind of a confusing thing where it's like, why is this guy not making these shots? And I feel like the last time I seen him have like a good game, I don't know if I want to say Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals or Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
They played good today. I don't know yesterday. They played well yesterday.
It was decent, but I felt like more Bam.
No, I'm at the game they lost. I mean last night when they won. When Denver he played all right night. I thought he played well. It's just the team was complete utter garbage, so it didn't matter.
Right, and again, he's always every look he got was a Jimmy Butler look. Every look.
Right.
I think the only like bad shot I see him take was like the corner three in the first quarter, I believe. But besides that, every shot, those little floaters, the mid-range pull-ups, that little attack at the basket, it's all shots that he always hits. But he hasn't really been too efficient yet. And it's been a while.
Right. Like it's something I never really like completely thought about. But no, it can happen because when he got the ankle injury against New York, it was the first game, right?
Game 1.
So like it's like I will not rule that out of the question because it's 100% possible. Like it's about to say, have you ever tried playing on a sprained ankle? It's not all the time, trust me.
It's not fun. Because he's also and I'm not really trying to put like too much blame here yet because it's only 2-1. This series is not technically over yet. But I feel like he has to at all costs try to get looks that is not on Aaron Gordon. I think
Aaron Gordon is bothering him a lot.
Yeah, I think Aaron Gordon is boxing him up pretty much in this series so far, to the point where I think, and this is something that LeBron does this a lot. LeBron, Steph, KD, where they'll get a pick and roll and they'll force a switch, slow down the offense. Now, I don't know if that's probably not Miami's way now. Like that might, because the ball doesn't move too much when they do things like that. But if you want Butler to score, because they're down 2-1, and Game 4 is this is must win right here. I'm considering this like an elimination game pretty much. So you're gonna need like a performance, bro. You're gonna need like a serious, strong a superhuman performance to try to win this game.
But that doesn't come without its trade-offs, though. So let's say he's gonna force a switch on Jamal Murray, right? Because he is pretty strong, but he can still body him though. Let's just say he tries to force that switch right continuously, and it does slow down the game, right? Which will kind of damage Denver's offense. That much true. But my counter to that though is players like Gabe Vincent, Duncan, Caleb Martin, and them, they're rhythm players. Like if they're not in. Like, if they're, like, not in rhythm at all, like, in terms of that particular offense, I can see a world where they play, like, absolute garbage because of that. Because that's the way that they're playing. I'm not opposed of you trying to make the switch because, again, you're down to 1. The series is far from over, but you got to try to do something to at least tie the series up going back to Denver because you're lost on court because of your three just didn't fall. But the thing is like, I would try to keep the same offense, but at least try to create more looks for Bam in the interior, or just have more like the backdoor cuts was working perfectly fine.
It was
again. That was what won them the game.
It was.
So it's
yeah.
So it's like it's tricky because again, Mike Malone again, it's like we said earlier in the series. Mike Malone's the first coach that could really hang with Eric Spoelstra in this playoff run for the Heat. So it's tough what they gotta do, like, because you can do the Jimmy Butler centric thing, but it's most definitely gonna come with its trade offs, and hopefully Kyle Lowry didn't suffer like an OD injury at the end of that game because of the court being slippery.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, of course, on that. I guess if your coach Spo is like, do you think you should make the change where should you try to get easier looks for Jimmy, or keep doing what you're doing, but you're kind of at the mercy of your role players, whereas like if they're not hitting, you're screwed. But if they are hitting, then you're ultimately going to be in it because that's what got you here in the first place. But it kind of feels like they got to start doing something to put more pressure on Denver because you got game 1 here and game 3 where they won effortlessly, and they could have won game 2. So it's a 2-1, but it's like a 2-1 that could have been a 3-0 in a way. So, right. If I feel no pressure towards Denver, I feel like Miami hasn't asserted any pressure. And it's funny because you got a good Bam here. Like, he's having a great series. And this is the case. So, I don't know if they have any more answers. Again, if they're hitting their shots, this is a different type of conversation. But this is 2 games in a row now, right? Has Strus have a good game yet? I don't think so.
The second game.
The second game, right? Caleb Martin, I think.
Blazing.
And Caleb Martin had like a quarter, right? Because besides yesterday in that first quarter, or the second quarter, I believe, he didn't have a good game either yet, right?
No, he's been pretty bad.
Yeah, so for the most part, the role players who pretty much help get you here, who help make you into this kind of unbeatable team in the Eastern Conference, they're not there right now. They're not there right now. And like I said, this is a comfortable 2-1 lead. This is a very comfortable one. Like, I don't feel threatened for Denver, like, at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with 100%. They have been, I would say they coasted so far.
Yeah.
Like, especially, like, and, yeah, because, yeah, you're right about the Max Strus thing, and I can't even see he had a great game that second game either. He just started off hot. Like, he made, like, the first, like, 3 or 4 threes and missed every single shot after that. And then game 1 and game 3, he shot a combined total of 1 for 17.
I think Caleb Martin has something like that as well before this game too. I think he was like 2 for 8 for the whole series.
Yeah, but 2 for 8 is better than 1 for 17. I'm about to say he made
no doubt.
Yes. That's so bad, but
yeah,
I'm about to say, but he's not literally shooting them out the game.
Pretty much. So it's like you got those two guys. You got Strus, who's definitely like the biggest problem. Then you got Caleb Martin as well, who's struggling. Now, asserting Kevin Love and making double big, that was the right decision, right? I think that's a big reason why you ultimately won a game as well. But the problem with that is if you're missing shots, him being in the starting lineup hurts you more because they're pushing in transition. And he's not going to – and you can't foul because then it's a free throw and the ball. So they have a big problem.
I never really thought of that either with the – like them benefiting off that rule change. I never really thought of that.
When I rewatched the game in the morning, this morning, because they really they pushed the ball. They destroyed them yesterday on that. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, they can't really stop them because if you foul them, they're gonna shoot free throw. They're gonna shoot a free throw on the ball. And to transition, that's why we got swept. Like that was the hardest thing for us to guard was their transition. We could not stop it. We had open lanes. Like it was unstoppable. And I'm thinking about it now. It's like you can't stop this team. Could you imagine the 2012, 2013 Miami Heat with that rule?
Oh yeah. Then it'll be
unstoppable. And this is a team here they have benefited the most from that rule. It feels like it made them complete their brand of basketball.
Mike D'Antoni teams would have benefited from this too, by the way. They really would have.
Run and gun. Yep.
They would have benefited from this rule. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you're Miami, I'm not gonna lie to you. You might have to bite that bullet and take the free throw and the ball at this point, and force them to play half court offense because it feels like if they're running transition, it's automatic 2 points. It kind of feels that way. Yeah, Denver scoring in transition kind of feels like when Golden State hits all those threes and it just utterly demoralizes you. That's kind of what it feels like. So I'll be honest with you, I would gamble that. I would gamble because what's really, really, really killing them really when it's in half court, you got 2 players in Denver who could miss shots. And Aaron Gordon and then Michael Porter is like the worst player for Denver right now. Right? That'll be the one time you tried that and Michael Porter drops 35 points.
If that's the case, then, so be it. But if you could try to get the ball out of these 2 guys' hands, which is very hard to do, and you try to force those guys to shoot shots, it's only 1 point. So if you could get more stops that way, then you're good because they're not only getting transition points, they're getting and ones. You got Jamal Murray. He might pull up a 3 in transition, and the way that he's playing, it feels like every shot he shoots is going to go in. So to your point, you might be right. You might be right.
It's crazy too because they're only shooting 33% from three this series. I was like, Golden State, what? Denver, and it's crazy because they're up 2-1, and the scary thing for Miami is like they haven't had that offensive masterclass yet. You feel like that they're capable of doing but I feel like that's what they were doing all series against the Suns and
game one against the Lakers.
And that first game against the Lakers, yeah. Where we have Porter hitting his shots, Jamal Murray can't miss, Nikola Jokic going to score 25 points because he doesn't have to drop 40. KCP getting like 15, 20. Bruce Brown hitting his shots. Like we haven't really had that game yet for Denver in this series. And I think that's kind of like the more worried thing about it too, because that's the thing with Denver, which they are a great defensive team. Don't get me wrong, they can't get stops, but obviously offensively speaking, it's the bread and butter, and they're one of the better three-point shooting teams in the league. They're not hitting their shots, and yet they're still up to one pretty effortlessly.
Yeah, that's perfectly said, bro. There could be a point in this series where Miami just might mess around and lose by 40 if Denver Nuggets has one of their explosions that we know them for, but they're pretty much getting two-manned, and they're coasting this series. There's just so many variables that you have to count in for Miami for things to go right. That again, when I look back, it's like, wow, not only did they win a game, they won in Denver. Right. And it's like, how did this even happen? But I think what you said, I agree with you. I think they should gamble in taking away transition and taking that foul.
You might have to. That's why you might have to at least make them play half-court offense. They're still a good half-court team, but they're nowhere near as dangerous as they are when they transition. When Nikola Jokic literally gets the ball and is running and and doing behind the backs like a damn point guard and shit. And they get either a nice transition to three or an easy layup for Jokic because it feels like Jokic just doesn't miss within like 10 feet.
Yeah, within 10 feet, it feels like a fast break layup that's wide open. He doesn't miss it at all. A big reason for that, too, is because Bam is an undersized center, so he shoots over him like he's a little boy.
And again, this is where you miss Dwayne Dedmon. Even I'm not saying Dwayne Dedmon would have stopped Jokic. Hell no. But
he's tall.
He's tall. Two, he can stretch the floor. And and three, he would have just get bitched like Odizella is. Like again, there was one play. I think it was the first game of the series where Nikola Jokic literally just got on the block. Mind you, I think he only shot like 2 shots at this time, and it's about to be high trying. He literally just backed them down, made them fall, and got an easy layup.
That was game one. That was game one.
Yeah, he can dunk if he wanted to, but it's Nikola Jokic. He don't dunk. He got more triple doubles than dunks, I think. Something like that.
I could recall that play, and that was the play where I seen it, and I said, "Oh Lord, they're gonna lose the series, bro." That's how I felt. It's just
like that.
It's bad, man.
That first game was legit. It was legit when a grown man plays against a 10-year-old, and they kept bodying them. They keep bodying them in the paint and getting easy 2 points. That was literally all of game one. It felt like.
Now I have another question, right? I feel like this is a point where Miami should just start trying things, and since they run a whole bunch of zone, I credit that a lot to Denver not having a part of it, to Denver not having the offensive explosion yet, where they're kind of putting pressure on the other players, and they're kind of not playing well. Maybe they should have a couple possessions where they should try Kevin Love at center for their half-court offense and try like a pick and fade. Because if Kevin Love is hitting threes, Nikola Jokic will have to move up.
Mm-hmm. No, I get why you're saying that. Here's the problem, though. Yeah, we're scoring their line right back easily. Like you can run that zone all you want, but you still need that anchor up in the middle for that to work. Kevin Love isn't that. He has his defensive moments when he was younger, but listen, but he wasn't a good defender when he was younger. He old now. He old, can't move. Still got some strength, but he ain't as strong as Jokic and Gordon will body him too.
Yeah, they definitely would. I guess the only thing they could hope for is kind of like getting loose balls in that zone with a lineup like that, which is easier said than done, of course.
I'm about to say, yeah, you legitimately have. Yeah, then again, if Coach does get match, you might as well try it. But
I would try it because if he's having a good game, if he could hit like 3 threes, you know what I'm saying? It could give him a good opportunity because Jokic would have to respect it because he is a good shooter. He is like it's not like it ain't an out of body experience for him to keep hitting jumpers. That's what he's done his whole career. So if he could, because Cody Zeller ain't giving you, it's like 4 on 5 when he's there. It's 4. He's not gonna. Does he even get rebounds? Like he's horrible, bro. So I would try it. You could spread the floor, like you said. Bam. Sometimes Bam, if he's not hitting the midi, he already could drop a little. Yeah, Jokic could already drop.
Hold on, I can turn it on. And Cody Zeller 7 minutes per game, he averages a rebound.
A rebound? One?
A rebound. Just a singular rebound, yes.
How you average 1 rebound in 3 games, bro? And you're a center. You're a center and you average 1 rebound 3 games? Bro, they need to. Oh my God, he's worse than I thought, bro. They need to try it, bro. They need to try it. Because, okay, now realistically speaking, Jokic could already drop in coverage because Bam is a mid-range shooter. So Jokic is literally not even thinking of the 3 ball, right? That's 1. 2, if Bam is not hitting, like you said earlier, he could drop even more. Kevin Love, he's a threat from the mid-range and the 3-pointer. You kind of, if Jokic is dropping, it's because he's gambling. But if he starts hitting, he has to move up. It allows the guards to score more efficiently, especially Jimmy Butler. He could drive more in the paint. Because if Jokic is worrying about Kevin Love shooting a 3, Jimmy Butler is quick enough to just blow right past him. Now, again, they will have to prey on zone and getting loose balls. But like you said, they're running Cody Zeller, so like, why not?
Here's another player. I don't know if I mentioned him earlier. If I did, I apologize. I'll repeat it one more time then. Haywood Highsmith played very well to get that first game. Limited minutes that second and third game. Why?
Yeah, why? I would run him.
Because it's another wing. It's another wing who can actually defend. But I want to say can hit the 3. I won't say he's the best at it, but he can hit his 3s. And I'm about to say Edmonds is a really good defender. He's a high energy guy. Why doesn't he play more?
I don't really have a solid answer except for maybe since he's not enough of a 3-point threat, Spoelstra probably feels like he can't shoot him since the option isn't really there too much. That's the only thing I could think of.
Like, no, I understand that, but like, you can't have like because he's essentially. I'm not trying to compare the two, but he's essentially a Victor Oladipo replacement, in a sense.
Pretty much.
So
pretty much.
And he gave you, and from what I've seen this playoff run, he's giving you good minutes. So, like, and he played well in that first game. So why doesn't he play more?
I would at least. What did he play? How much minutes did he have?
He played in that last game. He played a grand total of. I'm trying to find it real quick. 2 minutes, 27 seconds.
Yeah, 2 minutes is unacceptable. They have another big man. Omer Yurtseven. Why doesn't he play?
Listen, if Cody Zeller's playing, you might as well try that too at this point.
He's bigger than Cody Zeller. He's bigger than him. Why does he play? I feel like there's not a good enough reason Spoelstra could give us because of the mere fact of Cody Zeller.
During the first or second game, I don't remember which game it was, we literally tossed in the idea of Udonis Haslem playing.
We did. I would. Bro, so if Udonis Haslem hits 1 midi, he's automatically Cody Zeller, bro.
No, you're not wrong. But I'm saying but I'm saying it's to the point that where if we have to fish for 45-year-old Udonis Haslem who hasn't gave you consistent minutes since 2013, I'm about to for an answer, there's a massive problem here.
I am so curious, man. Why wouldn't Omer Yurtseven play? I think is he a 7-footer? I think he's a
Yeah,
7-footer.
I think he's a 7-7-1. Yeah.
Yeah. Why? I can't see an answer. I can't see an answer. Is he so? I didn't really see him play too much. So maybe is it because he's so slow?
He is pretty slow.
Is that what it is?
And Cody could actually move, but that's the only attribute he has.
Yeah, that's the only thing. He's agile. But
so, but he still get body. He's still he look he doesn't know what he's doing.
he looks lost. He does. He looks
He
lost.
does.
Yeah. I would. You know what I say? It doesn't hurt to give him like a good 5 minutes.
I suppose you might as well.
For real, because again, game 4. This is the series right here. Because Denver is not dropping no 3-1 lead. That's not gonna happen. So
right, no, they were the ones that came back from down 3-1 twice in the season. I don't remember that.
Right. So this is the series, and it's on your home court. So you're gonna lose, and then you're gonna go back to Denver. It's already almost damn near impossible to win there to begin with. So for you to lose at home and then face elimination in Denver with their first championship ever on the line, like you're going home.
I'll say this though for Miami: if you don't lose a series, at least lose Denver, because you can't have
That's true.
You can't have a man, right, that played his national anthem with his brothers in the club. You can't have a man that took like a teammate that to the point that when he came back, it was a revelation to me because he was out for like 5 months. It felt like when they played last year, and then he gonna celebrate on your home court as well and do things I can't speak of.
It is a pretty bad thing. He would have like ownage over the city of Miami. It would be like a Trae Young New York thing. It's
a wrap. He is literally the majority owner of the Miami Heat. If that happens, I'm sorry, it's that simple.
It is better to lose in the road than your home court. It is. If you're gonna lose championship, might as well lose him in Denver.
right. But no, in this case, no, it just has to happen.
Yeah.
it's like when Trae Young closed New York out at New York and he gave him a bow in the middle of the logo.
Oh, he did the Reggie Miller bow. Yeah, man. Who you got in game 4?
Miami. I think they tie the series up.
I think they're gonna tie the series as well. I think it goes 2-2 back to Denver. Game 5 again, always being the most important game of a series.
Right. They tie it up and that's it. Miami, not Miami. Denver wins the last 2 games.
Yeah, I agree with you. Denver wins in 6, winning those last 2 games.
Which means they will win Miami. Oops, oh well. That's what it is. I'm trying to think. Did they win every single series in the other team's home court? No, they didn't. No, they won in Denver against Minnesota.
Oh, right. Because Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but anything else you guys say?
The only thing I can say is that I hope this series gets extended as much as possible. As a basketball fan.
Yeah, because season about to end soon.
It's about to end. We're at the finish line.
That'll be all. Be sure to subscribe to Sports Dynasty and Mafia Sports Report. When we come back, we might talk about the ending of the series, or it might be when's Game 6? Game 6 Wednesday or Thursday?
I want to say it's Wednesday. It might be Wednesday.
So either we're talking about the ending of the series, or we're talking about either Game 6 or Game 7. One of the two. I don't remember the schedule.
It's Thursday. It's Thursday.
Okay, so we're either going to talk about games, what Miami or Denver needs to do in Game 6, Game 7 to close their series out respectively, or we're talking about the ending in Denver 1 because it's possible for Miami to win at this point before the next episode. So
yes, sir.
So yeah, hope you enjoy the finals, and we'll catch y'all on in the next one.